morning. Happy Wednesday. Here we are. Nice sell-off. All right. Here's what I was going to say, which I'm still going to say, but they're already doing it. The thieves in the morning routine. All right. I wrote it 15 minutes ago. They're going to bounce off this zone down here somewhere between 511.35 and 510.21 and in that neighborhood. And ultimately, they're going to run a test of this trend line. If they get back above, even if they open the day above this trend line, that's bullish. That's a flush. And you're looking for a recovery if they stay above the trend line. This number right here, I believe 35. See this number here? The low is 35. That's the next place above the trend line. Market came down here yesterday, told you it was important by getting out of there quickly, bouncing right off that number. We don't need to know the reason why. All we need to know is the market thought that number is important. It still should think it's important today, okay? And I didn't do anything with stocks on the move. One I had off the board, it was melting down. It was below, it was around the third number. And I just didn't have the time to do the rest. But what I did do was some of the Fab 5, Fab 7, whatever the Fab they are. And so we can look at NVIDIA. That's my number if they get below this low. It's a long way off, but that's where I am. Amazon, there's a lot of numbers down here. Any of these can bounce the tape. So you have a $2.50 spread. I'm not saying they get all the way down here, but that's what Amazon. So buck or so lower, and you're in business in Amazon. Maybe, Pred, yeah, NQ didn't make a new low. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Okay. Interesting. What else do we have? Apple. I don't think I had anything solid in Apple. No, not before they get here. This number's been on the board forever. Microsoft, they didn't really have much. Google, it's just a gap. It's a gap, but it's a big area. It's a little bit better than a gap, but it's still just a gap. Tesla, you're down here. 171.35 down to a spike of 170. That's the zone. What else do we have? Dirk got thieves in the morning around 511.50. Yeah, that's good. Unfortunately, they didn't do it yet in the regular session, so most traders are just waiting. But and I'll just be full disclosure, I did too. And I don't trade the pre-market a lot, but that one I couldn't resist. A small position, and it's about to punch out here, and you'll hear it. Maybe right at the open. Maybe they come up short. I'm at 52.0275. Just arbitrary in that neighborhood. IWM 215. Remember that 202.15? They gap below it. The next number is 215 in the IWM, and they didn't hit my number, and they hit the trend line, and they're trading away. All right, so far. Or no, they're not. They're at the trend line. That's interesting. Just at the trend line. It's uncanny how this stuff works sometimes. There they go. The coinciding my number exit, just for those of you that might have been long, with 513.71 in front of it. Is there a buy level this morning, and what was the pivot? The pivot was a long time ago. The market collapsed after the phony CPI data, Billy, and basically I was buying down here, but the pre-market thieves already did it. If they come down here, 511.35, 511.50, all the way down to 510. That's your spot, okay? That's everybody's spot. Doesn't mean they have to get there, so don't short it in the hole to get there. You'll get whipped out, but that's the spot. 513.07 was a spot, but that's not a buy right here. Not for me. I gotta wait. Yeah, this was a good test of the trend line right at the open, and here comes the see you later. Took the trend line shortly. Wow. Well done. Well done. Yep, they're coming. All right, hold on. Back above the trend line, she's bullish. Stay below and she's bearish, and you just got to wait. Can't guess. You'll get whipped around. Yeah, let's go back to the Qs. 436.07 is a number. There go the spiders again. All right, so they didn't get low enough for me, but they're bouncing around. Again, above the trend line. There she comes. Unreal. Where is a good buy for you? Jeff asks, is down here at 511.35. Thought they might have a chance when they fell, but they snapped right back. I wasn't a buyer in here. Not for me. Still a buyer down here. 512.15 is important too, but I like that pre-market low area. That was a good spot, not just because it's the pre-market low, but that's the reason it's the pre-market low. See how this trend line is resistance? There's no doubt about it. She's playing with the trend line. It's all about the trend line right now. All about the trend line. Above, and she can have a rescue, and below, she can't. Another attempt. 513.71 is obviously important. There it is. I guess I was a little above it. I didn't realize. Okay. VTV buy point. VTV, what is that? Oh, Vanguard. What does this track? Val, it doesn't really track anything, right? It's just, it's 158, give or take, 158 and a quarter. That spot, maybe a little higher. That's today. Okay, thanks, Mark. Yeah, I was actually above. I was a punch through 5,200, Doc. Just no reason. That's where I put the order. No, Shalom, I'm looking for lower, and they did it in the pre-market. They opened around the trend line, and I'm looking for down here. We'll see if they do it. Market's open 7 minutes. You know what happens with patience. Very good, Shalom. Let's see what's going on here in Camp IWM. 215, nice bounce. 215, anybody take that? I know we have some IWM traders in here wondering. NVIDIA? Oh yeah, look at that, Armand. Look at that. SMH is down 1/3%. It's interesting. Qs didn't make a new low, remember that? But they're down almost 1% along with the spiders. Again, it's all about the trend line. We're not even completing a 10-minute candle yet. We're about to in half a minute or so. Nick bought RTY in the pre-market, also the NQ. All right. Well done. Well done. Amazon ripped. Microsoft. Let's see. Yeah, I was lower. Had to come below 420. How about Apple? 167.80. Been looking for that for a long time. Apple. I mean, if they spike it, it's not that far. We're talking about Apple, right? What's it down? $1.50. Max bought the NQ in the pre-market. Yeah, there was just some of you, including myself, that I've seen this so many times where they're going to rally it back to the open, rally it back to get closer to the opening bell. They'll just pop it and all that stuff, and it just, I've seen it too many times. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, Scott. Might have changed based on the price action yesterday, Alex. I'm going to double check that right now. Okay. Yeah, that changed. It was updated. The watch list is always updated because it's a real-time change. When the system changes, all the numbers are the same across the board. So we're talking about a swing trade that was close yesterday, came too close, then the system will adjust the price. Okay. Let's get back to the spiders. No change. Boeing, let's take a look. I'm a little backed up in questions now. Let's see. Let me take a look at Boeing on my bigger screens here. I need more space. It's lower. It's got to be around 170, even a spike of 173 for me today in Boeing. Doesn't mean it gets there. It means if it does. Apple, no, they didn't get there. 167.80 is a number in Apple, Hussein. Yes, long. You're not going to short it on the way down. We always sell into resistance, buy into support. What was that, 39.60 something, Chad? Oh, there go the spiders. 514.35 would be a target if anybody was long. It should be overhead resistance, but I'm not saying it's a short, but it's a target, and if you're long, it's a profit target. That's why I bring up the overhead resistance. It's not for a short. Not all overhead resistance means short, although it can be. It's just down too much. If they got up to 515.50, give or take, anytime soon, that may be a different ball game. I could support a short 515.50 to 516.50. No doubt. Anytime soon. Look at this, right back to the trend line. It's amazing. It is amazing. The market knows about that trend line. I got made fun of for that trend line. There's Apple. All right. Is this a retracement? Spike the low, rip it back. Now 512.15 comes into play. Spike the low. This is the next number. That's reasonable if they do it. It sure does, Mark. Not all trend lines are created equal, but then you don't realize how important they are until it's real time, until you can see it act and react, price meaning around the trend line. Nice job, Mark. So far, it's a retracement, but that doesn't mean anything. If they stay below the trend line, the door's open for lower, and here they come. I could support anywhere in the neighborhood of 512.15 down to 511.35 for a long side trade. Things change around the open after the open. There's more things going on. So far, they spiked the low and they're trying to rip it. I need them a little lower for me. I'm giving you what I would do, what I am going to do. You can maneuver around that information, whatever makes you comfortable. Anywhere around 512.15 down to 511.35. That's my spot. Let's see it. I forgot about that. My fault. What do we have? W 60, I believe, or no, 60.78. Did they get there? What was the low? 60.80. John took it. Numbers work. New lows in the Qs now, huh? Okay. Let's check out the Qs. Your spot in the Qs is 436.07 down to this low. That's your bounce back place. And even if they spike the low, it's 435, which is a big fat round number, semi-fat round number. So take that into account. So that's your zone. It's a buck, give or take. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks, John. Yeah, I got it. It's pretty amazing. And then I spike the low again. You either have patience or you're chasing it. I'm not going to chase it. Something will come up later if this rallies away. You have to have that mindset because you eliminate variable risk when you think you're missing something, which is FOMO, and you chase it around. Just because they bounce now doesn't mean they're going to bounce in a minute or two from now. We just don't know, and that's why I have to use specific places to say I'm going to reduce my variable risk by entering a trade at a specific place that I predetermine. Therefore, it's the place I want. Therefore, if they don't get there and they do something else, they just didn't get to my place, and I'm not really missing anything. That's the mindset. I'm okay with that. Over time, you learn to live with that. Yeah, Vin, sure. One and a quarter, but they already came close. Missed it by 50 cents, but 1 1/4 is really a natural place. Above this high, and they can start to work their way into this breakdown candle, which I'm sure can see on this hourly chart. But 125 is going to be really important. Apple, yeah, give me a second. First, they got to get recapture 167.80. That's the first order of business. 168 1/4 is probably going to be some resistance. It's target-ish, but it's not really a tremendous trade. But above that, and they're back into this 169 area. Back to the trend line for the spiders. So they spiked the low. They didn't get low enough for me. I'm sure some of you took the trade anyway, and that's fine. If you did, you know what you're doing. You knew what I said. You knew what you wanted to do. You knew what made you comfortable. You knew what you were willing to do. If you did, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. Some of you know that, hey, look, they may not get to the number. They may spike the low and rip it. And if they do, I'll buy it again, and I'm okay with that. If that's your setup that makes you comfortable today, that's okay. I would be taking profit. Some. Yeah, Dirk was doing that. Anybody that did do it got paid. Apple's fighting back, trying to. Just from a swing trade perspective, just noticing 2 recent longs are holding in there, and a lot of shorts are doing just fine. In fact, all the shorts are doing just fine. We got a divergence in Apple. Spiders are bouncing, Apple's not. Qs are bouncing. IWM is bouncing. NVIDIA, look at that. Yeah, 876, 877, 875. That's where NVIDIA is heading. Somewhere within a buck or so of that, maybe short of it, but that's the ballpark. Tesla, yeah. Anybody take Tesla? Yeah, Oleg's in Tesla. AMD, sure. There's your 413.35 overhead resistance. Remember, above 413.35 on candle closes, not just a peekaboo. Then you start to go to 415.50, 55, and that's still an available short if they got up there anytime soon. Did I say 4? Yeah, Dirk took profit up there. Oh, it's funny how that works. That's the market telling us that number's important. It's not magic. I didn't make it up. I don't have a patent on it. I just notice it. I just know this stuff because I've been watching it forever. 513.71, and we'll see if they get back to the trend line or not. William got a base hit holding a trailer in Tesla. Well done. Darren says IWM has a PC 3.0. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, okay. Was the number. And 202.15 is a target now. Armand booked 5K in Spider, Google, and NVIDIA. Well done. Let's see something. You remember what 513.71 was? Anybody? Whoops. Watch this. Talked about it at night. All week. 513.71. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not. Sorry. I got mixed up. My bad. It's close to that low. This big, huge reversal low. So they closed below that, which is also below the trend line. That's trouble. Just to reiterate that, I thought that number is the same number. It wasn't. Good job, Dwayne. That's okay. Mohammed got 2100 on SPX calls. Well done. Yes, Billy. If they got up to 515.55, let's just say while we're on together, and I'll let you know whether I like it or not, but anytime soon is an opportunity if they shot up. If they get below the trend line, we're back in business looking for lower. We're looking for a new low at that point. Apple, 167.19, and then 166.77. Now, it was a buck or so, the spread. So that's where you are. It's not that far. 67.80 down to 66.77. That was the range. There's your bounce. See if this one sticks. Look at this, retested a trend line. Jeez, it's unbelievable. So right now it's stuck at 167.19, John, which is better. JPM for one, that was old. And they'd have to make a new low, and if they're around the lows, let me know, and I'll do the work, but I don't see that right now. 196 would be a target on the upside. Yeah, they'd have to get all the way down here. Spike 194. Paul says, made 11K holding dated puts overnight, closed them at the open. How you doing? How's your day going, Paul? Well done. Let's go back to Apple. Spider's bounced off the trend line again. That just tells you. It doesn't mean directly to do anything with it. It just tells you the more times they do that, the more important it is. And if they get below, there's an opportunity for lower. And if they stay above, they'll try and rally it. Sorry. Apple's got a better bounce above 167.50, and they should get you right back to 167.80, and we're all over again. If you painted by the numbers, you're even in Apple. You wait. From a risk management perspective, let's think about Apple. And even though it's been down and it's been in the dumpster and all that stuff, it really doesn't matter from an intraday perspective, because what you do when you trade Apple, most of the time, nothing's 100%, but most of the time, large majority of the time, using the 80-20 rule, you're not going to get killed in Apple, even if it goes down a little further. So Apple reduces some variable risk of having a trap door open on you. it's unlikely to happen in Apple. It can happen, it does happen from time to time, but it's unlikely to happen in Apple. So when you see a trade in Apple, you say, all right, this may be risk I'm willing to take with some capital because my downside is somewhat limited the large majority of the time in Apple, because it's probably I don't know the stat on this, but it's probably, and it certainly has been, the widest held stock from mutual funds and hedge funds and pension funds and every individual under the sun almost. And when you think about that, it's got what we call support. That's just another way to look at support. Somebody's always going to be coming in to buy Apple. There go the spiders. There we go. 515.55 to 516.50 is an opportunity at present. All right, here's the update, and they're pulling back anyway, but if they're going to get up 515.55, 50 to 516.50, give or take, is a short scalp with potential opportunity that starts with candle closes above 514.35, and all they did was spike it, get close to 515. It's not good enough. They got to stay above. And you see the volatility, which tells you right now that if they run up to 515.55 in that neighborhood, up even a buck, the pullback should be a little juicy. Oh, I'm reading an old thing. Hold on. Ron, you talking about Apple? Yeah, exactly. Could you email me on that, Nav, and I'll take care of you? Just something I'll do in a little while when I have some time. No problem. Anything's possible, Michael. I've seen weirder stuff happen, and I'm sure you have too. Talking about can they close the gap today? It's a long way off, but anything is possible. Don't trade for that. You don't guess that it's going to happen. Obviously, you and everybody else know that, but anything's possible. It would be wild. It would be wild. And you would probably see new highs before the week is out if they did that. Write that down, put it on a stick, see what happens. Big if, capital I, capital F. 2,600 total profit booked from W. Very nice trade, no emotions. Mohammed, how you doing? Well done. Wrote that down, Jack. All right. Yeah, just see what happens. You never know what happens by 4 o'clock today. Listen, if they're going to be up at 516.50, even this morning, if that's going to happen, then you certainly can't rule out a full recovery. Now, if they hang down here for another hour or two, then it becomes more unlikely. Just from a time perspective, and they got to get going type of thing. Yeah, look what happened yesterday. Exact opposite. Not the exact opposite. They did that exact thing. They didn't quite get near the high, but look what happened. So you can't ever rule that. Look, all they did was make a higher low, right? Talk about that all the time. A, B, C. How many times do we talk about that? Higher low to pull back, not a collapse. As long as they put in that higher low, they got a chance. Let's take a look at some other charts just to picture. You don't know anything here. You certainly don't know anything here. 14 minutes from now, give or take, they can put in a sign or signal of a trend change. They can hang on the trend line. They could drop. They could do anything. But if they finish positive up here, and they will have spiked a low, that's positive for the bull case, for the recovery. And if they're above 514.35, this becomes the next target zone. They're working on it. They've had every opportunity over the last couple of candles here to fall. Now, look what they keep doing. Here, this one, they tested a trend line. This one, they made a higher low and they tested the next number, 513.71. What's the low? 73. Book 200 in Apple with trailers, Darren. There you go. There's Apple. See? You just stay calm. Was I concerned they were down here? No. Did I sound concerned? No. It was a buck. It wasn't even a buck to where the low was, but this whole thing is just a buck. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Doc. I don't use the overnight data if that's what you're referring to. 10-year cracked. Oh, let's take a look at TLT. I know that was down earlier. I forgot. I don't think they got to my number. Not yet. Dollar. I need $1. They got to close candles below this low in order to have a chance. There go the spiders again. Good job, Darren. Well done. Let's see Apple now. All right. Yeah, it's the same thing, Doc. What you're talking about is right now they're just A, retracing a portion of the move, or B, putting in a wedge, or C, both for now, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Theoretically, there's a big candle here. It's a big red candle, theoretically, but doesn't change anything. Just another way to look at it. But you don't have to look at it that way because we never do, and it doesn't impact us. Just talking around things. Jack got $500, has a trailer on some SPX calls. Well done. I'm still an interested party on the short side, 515.50 up to 516.50. It's all give or take, you know that. Just let them do it. If you're long, that's an exit opportunity, exit area. You don't have to exit everything. If you're long and you want to hold the trailer for the full-on recovery, that's up to you, but it is an exit area, that zone up there. Now you want them to get there sooner than later. You don't want this creeping business. You don't want this to take 3 or 4 more 15-minute candles. That's not going to be good. That's going to change the setup. 5K on the day so far, Mohammed. Well done. How's your day going? Okay, Pradya, I'm not sure what topic we're talking about there. I'm trying to scroll back here. I don't find it. There's a lot of stuff in here. Sorry. Interestingly enough, some platforms, I'm going to read that out loud in a second, Pradya. Everybody needs to listen to this. This is a lesson in trading, okay? And I'm going to preface it by saying some platforms do not allow you to put a market order in for 5 minutes. You have to put a limit order in. Now, let me read out what Pradyat said for the benefit of everybody, and I thank you for putting that in. Pradyat wanted to take profit in Disney. He had some puts. We were short Disney from a swing trade, and it's working, and he wanted to take profit, okay? I made a big mistake today in a rush to close my Disney puts. Entered a market order at the opening bell, which filled at 27 cents, and I lost 90% of my position. 15 seconds later, that contract is trading for $3.60, 35% above my cost basis. The lesson is if you put a market order in at the open, you're going to get screwed a portion of the time. Sometimes it'll be in your favor. But with an opportunity to screw you, they take the opportunity to screw you. I don't know the mechanics of why that happened or how that happened or why the bid was down there or how could it even be filled down there. But the fact is that it was, and unless I could be wrong, but I don't think there's anything you could do about it.
Can I actually add on that?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I know a little bit about this because a friend of mine has a strategy that actually takes advantage of people like that. First thing in the morning, way more options now than there ever has been. Market makers don't necessarily step in immediately. And so if you go to sell and there's no market maker necessarily, or they're still trying to figure it out, if you just hit the market, you're going to get whatever's out there. And a lot of time that can just be a random retail order that somebody left in that fills. So in like probably the first 1 to 2 minutes, if you look at option prices, especially on less liquid options, they will be all over the place. Even the SPY, they'll be all over the place. So never in the first few minutes until you can actually see like a reasonable spread on the bid and ask on any option, try to trade it unless you're throwing it out there to try and grab it at a very low price without a limit order. Honestly, you should just never do it without a limit order because you may end up getting filled with a retail order that's been out there. It could be been out there for weeks, months. People have resting orders out there at like stupid prices waiting on people to put out an offer, and they'll get matched up because the market maker hasn't stepped up to the plate yet.
Jordan, by the way, that supports the case of the only way that could happen is by a matching order. It's not the market maker putting his own order in there theoretically, because it's all computerized at 27 cents or whatever. There's a matching order down there. It totally supports what Jordan just mentioned.
Correct. And your broker can sometimes match it internally too, if they see it. So it's just never use stocks are one thing, but even then you don't really want to do it, but never ever use a market order really for options unless it's like the SPY and it's very liquid and it's the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Always use limits and always just, if you need to get out, just keep moving it around until you get filled or put it above the ask to get filled.
All right. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate that. Doc also adds that longtime option trader agrees 100%. It's exactly right. What Jordan said, limit only in the first few minutes. And that supports what I said before, which is happens to be on the platform MyTradeOptions. I can't put a market order in. They don't allow it for 5 minutes. So they're protecting you. They're protecting me. And for those of you that are about to ask, I use the Merrill platform, Merrill Edge, for options and swing trades. And really, for no other reason, because they're all the same to me, for no other reason than it's linked to a Bank of America account that we've had for years. And that's just the easy thing for me to do. I don't make magic out of it. I don't make it complicated. Did the spiders take the luster off 515.50 just yet? Maybe not. I would say not yet, but it's coming. They got to get there sooner than later. Otherwise, they're going to start to creep up there. And look at Apple go, by the way. So I know we have a lot of participants in Apple. I'm here. I'm just looking around a couple of things. I got a beat on some. I'm doing some work on a stock that's falling. I think we have an opportunity today. Give me a second. All right. Put this on your screen, on your radar screen, on whatever you have. If they spike the low, that's your zone. 30-cent spread. Two numbers for different reasons in that zone. Spike the low, into the zone, rip it back. That's a trade. Let's see. Darren got a profit in Apple, took a loss a few weeks ago. Now he's even in Apple. Okay, fair enough. I'm glad that happened that way. Not glad about the first part, but the second part. L. Yeah. Just give me a second. All right. Down to 60 bucks. I don't know if they get there today, but that's today's number. Spider's still good if they get there anytime soon up here. You're right, Roger. Well done. 949 in profit today. Well done. There it is. All right, I'm in. Willing to add if it goes higher. What was the high? 57. Let's see what's going on with Apple. It's a good low. That's the next target. Then you're going to be up at 169. Oh, that's my profit. That's my base hit. Okay. It was a little bit in front of, only because of they're down so much, bouncing a downtrend, which could get sucked up. So I took an early profit. I think I took 4 points, but I still have some. You don't have to. It's just, I don't really like to hold things while I'm doing this for you, but sometimes I do. Love to take the trades, don't like to do it while I'm doing this for you because I get distracted on both ends. Sometimes I forget I'm in a trade and I end up taking a loss. All right, don't take the profit because I forget. Look at Apple on a tear. First order of business in overhead resistance or support is they stop going in the direction they're going. So far, at least for a couple minutes, that is the case. If they close candles above, then they're going to work on 516, 516 and a quarter, 516.10, 516.15, something like that. And then the next thing is 516.50. Can we look at Intel? Sure, why not? That was my number today. Nope, there go the spiders again. 516 to 516 and a quarter, and then 516.50. Above 516.50 is opens the door for 518, 1850. Not in a minute, I'm just saying. I'm sure Apple's on a tear. 168.65, that was the next target. Then it's a spike above 169. 516.50 is the next place. They close candles above there. If they start staying above there, I'm not going to stick around in a short. 516.16, what did I say? 516.15, 25, 516.10, in that neighborhood. That was the next objective. Nah, that's a watered down version of what we already know, Jason. Now 515.55 can be support. They're above. Apple's pulling back from the target, and the spiders are in the resistance zone. That's the way we have to look at that. Just because they went higher than the first number doesn't mean anything. That's why we start with a zone. That if you're willing to short the first number, you're willing to short higher or take the ride. Say that every day. It has to be the case. Otherwise, you have to wait for higher. It's not your cup of tea. TLT's still stuck. I need him a buck lower. Maybe not today. We'll keep an eye on it. 515.55 is now support till they can establish back below. If they do. Google 154.80. We talked about that earlier. Anybody take Google? FNF. Low was 52 against 50. The spiders trying to dipping a little bit here. They really should give you a spike below 515. 514, 513.95 in that neighborhood is, if they get down there, it's definitely an exit because they can bounce it right here. Bob took a bunt for base hit, $1.75, nothing wrong with that. Whatever floats your boat, that's fine. Nobody ever went broke taking a profit. Some trades you'll get more, some trades you're happy with that, and there's nothing wrong with that. NVIDIA, yeah, they're just headed up to that area. Tesla, yeah, stick above 170, 135, and they can pop it. Get below, and the next number comes into play, and this trend line. There you go. It's a little better. Here comes your 515. There it is. I have more exits. I just took another one at 515. 514.35. If they can establish below 515, that becomes the next target. It doesn't cost you anything to hold a trailer. Remember, you just don't let it go bad at this point. Good job, Kamal. 200 bucks in the spider with a trailer. 7 points for Mark. Hold on that. We'll get some numbers and stuff. It's fun to do that. We'll get some in a moment. Okay. I think FNF bounced in front. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, no, because it was hovering. See that? Let me get another number just in case. That's the next number in FNF. Below that, there's trouble. Focus on the spiders right now. We got a lot of traders in the spiders. And look at what Apple did to the number. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Never ceases to amaze me. Yeah, it's 10 points, John. Nice job. 600 bucks. Well done. I wish it was 100 points, but it's not. That's okay. I knew that. AMD, sorry. I think I did. I think I said they'd have to make a new low, and if they did, call me back. I think that's what I said, unless it was a different stock. I'm pretty sure. You got to make a new low. There's something before 159, but you got to make a new low. Thanks, Mohammed. Yes, Rob, that's actually a reasonable thing to say. So Rob's question, it's a good one, is let's say Irene shows up and they're down here later, tomorrow, whatever it is. Is the trend line a good thing to trade against if you want to try and ride the downside? If they're going to break this thing, and sooner or later they will, if they're going to break this thing and they get below this line, your next real big time objective is down here. That's profit target and symmetry, okay? But you can trade it against the trend line. Above the trend line, she's bullish, below she's not. So that's reasonable. So I'm glad you brought that up, Rob. There you go. 514.35 to 514 is a bounce place, and it's an exit, okay? In front of it, preferably. Is nice trade. We've got a lot of traders in here, in this trade, meaning. There's a gap here, 164.30. Just saying. What was the low so far? 62 against 35. They got a little more than halfway home into the resistance zone, almost around the midpoint, just a spike at the midpoint. How often do we see that? A lot. That's why some traders were shorting F3 times. That was the second one. No question about it. We've seen that enough almost every day to know that's a thing. All right, I did it in front. You don't have to exit. I just did it in front because for all the reasons I normally do, but this is beginning to get to the exit area. I'm out of the trade. You don't have to be. I just want to focus on you. I'm fine with what I made. It's good. I'm happy. There it is. 514.35. Okay, this is an area where you get down to 514, 514.15, 514, 513.90. They're probably going to bounce it. And just in case, later, if they make a new low, there's still an opportunity down here. There you go. This is a Whopper Junior now. Great trade. Great trade. Fantastic. All right. Again, you don't have to take a long trade. If they can bounce the tape here, if you're short, you can still hold a trailer. There's nothing wrong with it. You never know. You never know. It doesn't cost you anything to hold it. Low is 514.14, right in the middle. 514.35, 514, a spike of 514. That's a zone. It's an exit. If you want to exit fully, that's up to you. If they don't bounce it, I just don't know if they will or they won't. They can. They can. But they can also make a new low if they get below the trend line. Do they have to test the trend line? No. Here's 514. This is going to be a make it or break it for the bull case for rescue. Otherwise, they're coming back down a little more. Michael W. Trusting the numbers. 5K. We'll just leave it at that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. There's your bounce attempt. We get back above 514.35 and they'll run again. There it is. I know we had traders that flipped it. Just make sure you book a profit, base hit. What I mean by flipped it is flipped a short to a long. All right, so they've basically given you a base hit just about. Low was 514, a spike of it by 3 pennies, 513.97. All right, this is called a bonanza today. 4K for Paul. This is called a bonanza. Short, long, Apple. What else do we have? Kessler. Just play the market like a fiddle. Here's a higher low. Are they going to do this again? All right. Are they going to do this again? A, B, C? We don't know, but they can. You don't know. But they're setting up for it. Doesn't mean they'll stay up. But you just take the market as it comes in real time, do the assessment. There's a 5-minute chart. There's a 15-minute chart. Looks a little different, right? You got to look at all of them. 10-minute chart, it still could be a higher low, but you don't have enough to run on here yet. For this one, they really would have to get above 515 to make me believe they're going to do that. Get some profit numbers in a moment. Yeah, well done, Mark. Yeah, that short was just juicy. That's why I left my sound on. I wanted you to hear me take it. Most of the time, I don't want to entice you into something that you might not want to do when you hear my order, but that one was different. I was pretty sure about that one. Yeah, you're not going to always hear my entry orders for that reason, but that one, I couldn't help myself. I wanted you to hear it. I wanted people in this trade. We had waning velocity too, but those intraday short-term ones are sketchy sometimes. But that was just one more thing in that full stack realm. Yeah, it's melting a little bit, huh? Yeah, I would just play with what's working. Spiders are working. We've got a pretty good cadence today going on in spiders. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Coming down again. All right. Look, there's another opportunity down here. Don't worry about it. If you're still short, you hold it. If they make a new low, see what happens at the trend line at this point in the morning and at this point in the profit day as a trader. I'm looking for a new low. Okay. I'm not looking for the trend line. I'm looking for a new low. I'm still looking for my stuff down here. Okay. Only because, not only because, but part of the reason is because I already have money in the bank. So I'm going to be a little bit picky at 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't know that they get down there. I have no idea. But I know what I'll do if they do. 7 to 10 points, 3 runners for Doc. Book 9 out of 10 on the long side with one runner still in play, 1 runner on the put. One. Yeah. Well done. How you doing? Well done, Doc. Enjoy the walk with the dogs. It's nothing better than that, by the way. Nothing better. Man's best friend. 1200 with ES options and a trailer remains, Scott. Hey, let's get some profit numbers. I don't even care if you were short or long, which trade it was, doesn't make any difference. Let's hear how everybody did today. How are we doing? 1800, one contract left for Ron. Well done, Doc. 550 total, Darren. 1435 for Dirk. 2100 on Apple for John. 740 for the day, and Shalom for Shalom. 1400 for Ron at least, which means he's got trailers. 550 for Damien. Mark messed up, not sure why. I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. 3K on ES and Apple for Sean. 772 for Alan. 1750 with a trailer still on for Lee. With trailers for Brian. 4200 ES holding trailer for Luis. 950 for James. 700 for John. Hold on. 2150 for Ken. 15% on spy calls for Wesley. No, I just said that, Nick. I just said I'm looking for a new low. They can bounce it at 513.71, the trend line, all of the above. But with a profit in my pocket at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be a little more picky. I'm waiting for a new low. I'm waiting for the stuff I was waiting for this morning. That doesn't mean they'll do it, but I'm not taking a long trade in here at 11 o'clock because I'm going to wrap things up soon and I'm going to walk away. But if you want to take the trend line and play the trend line, front of the trend line, below the trend line, it's reasonable. I'm not doing it though. 1900 on SPY puts, 2400 total for Brian C. Well done. Just a profit bonanza today. Now the easy stuff's over. The easy stuff is over. If there was a long trade this morning, they didn't get to my number, but they just ripped it up and then they got right to a resistance zone. We knew it long before they got there and they pulled it right back. That's the easy trade. Okay, whether you were long or short for the ride or for the ride up or down, doesn't matter. The easy money is made. Well done, everybody. USO, let's take a look. Okay, see what we got. We'll just take a look at oil itself. Yeah, it's only down 45 cents. Let's see. Yeah, you got to be down near 80 bucks, 80 and a quarter. And if they blow through, on the blow through, you're down to 79.65. Could be anywhere in here, but that's the that's the bookends for crude. USO. You're welcome. Shalom. Boeing. Oh, look at that. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, the next number is really down here. Just call it 171. Just be careful because you can start to run out of time on the clock. If they're down here an hour or two from now, the odds of getting a bounce diminish. I don't see that, John. I'm not sure what you mean by trade number 4. No, that's funny, Scott. Let's take a look, Andy, at DXY, not Forex. Oh my goodness. See these higher lows? Talk about that all the time. It's a weekly chart, but it doesn't matter whether you're looking at a 10, 30-minute, hourly chart, 15-minute, doesn't matter. It's all the same stuff. Give me a second. The next target is really 105.25. Looks different. That's the next target. Let me see what's above that. Oh, I see it. 105.97, right up there. That's the next target, above 105 and a quarter. Juan wants to look at Apple. So there you go. They came halfway home in between 513.71 and the trend line and ripped it back. That was not for me, but anybody that was nibbling down there per se. What are we looking at? Apple. Well, Apple, the trade's over. Look what they gave you. Your average should be down here, 167.5, and they gave you 168.65. Oh, Brian's got a book. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, just paint by the numbers, Armand, and Baidu. It's on the list. It's got another number down there. Oh, I'm going to read it right now, Brian, if you could wait a minute. 42% winning trades before, and just cutting out the afternoon trading, the overnight trading, must be in an option position trading. My average has increased to 87%. So you're just basically following along for the most part. And you're cutting out the variable risk stuff that I talk about all the time. So you actually listen. Thank you very much. Okay, that includes the past. So without, it's just me, just this, 94%. That's pretty awesome. Any losses were small and manageable. Hardest part of the entire process has been to cut out the holding options overnight stuff. Yeah, you lose so many times on that. They're short dated options. They're not made to make money. They're made for you to lose money. Buying them, buying puts, buying calls are made for you to lose money in the short date duration options. Well done, Brian. Thank you. Intel, it's over. It's too late. They came up short. Well, they hit 38. Sorry, they hit it. But this is a creeper. So this isn't the ideal situation, but they still hit the number. Low is 38 against 37, 38. Let's see. Andy wants to look at Newmont. Loves those miners. 38, 10. If they spike the low today, they bounce it in there around 38, maybe a spike of 38. It's on time weak. Let me look at something else. This is the number I like today. Okay. That's the number I like today. They got there for a bounce. Look how close they came to the trend line again. Boeing. There's your numbers in Boeing. Okay, let's see. Oh, well done, Mike. NEM from last week. I honestly don't even remember it, but I'm glad it worked out. I look at so many stocks every day, I don't remember them all. But I'm glad you took it and it worked, that I was right. Not me, the number was right. We're going to start to wrap it soon. I'm not going to propose another trade in 10 minutes. If they make a new low today, this area down here is still a bounce back area. They're weak. The trend line is the key. That's it. Ripping it again. This could still be a higher low, but this is, you don't know where they're going to rip it from. You don't know. It's different. This is not the morning trade. The morning trade is over. No, I said a couple times, Fred, yeah, just focus on the spiders. They were working today. That thing was relative weakness and all that. And I don't like it now. Below there, I don't like it at all. They're trying to put in a low. You get back above 48.50 and I give you another 40, 50 cents out of it. You're welcome. Just this afternoon, Nick, let me read ahead. Hold on. They start closing below the trend line. Does symmetry come into play? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You're saying this down move, this bounce, and then an equidistant down move. Yeah, and that's down here, right? Just eyeballing it. Is that what you're looking at? That was for Nick B. You're right on. Good job, by the way. You see what we were looking at, just for everybody else's sake? So you got this move down, okay? And then you got this bounce. And then symmetry would say an equidistant move down to this. So you'd say, look at that. See what I'm saying? Even from the high. Look where you are. You're right in the middle of this zone. So if you found the market down there this afternoon, if there's time left on the clock, or even tomorrow, this is going to be interesting. Now, symmetry doesn't always mean there's a trade. It's generally a completion, like an exit. If you were short, you'd say, all right, look, I'm going to exit with the symmetry. Doesn't always mean a long, but here you happen to be right. The target is right into a zone. You got to look at that and say, all right, hold on a second. You don't have to slap me in the face 4 times. Doesn't mean it's going to work 100% of the time. It means I'm going to take that most of the time. Yeah, if it's 3:40 in the afternoon, I'm not going to take it, that kind of thing. But in the morning, or even like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1:30, 2 o'clock even, I may take that trade. Yeah, there's a gap down there at 510 and change. It's just a lot of stuff down there. Yeah, there is a gap down there. You're right, Mark. I did see that, but my number was 521 or 510.21. And I remember seeing the gap and I said, well, maybe I'll just put the number at the gap. And I said, yeah, then they'll come up short and I wouldn't have given you the number. It's 510.21. That's just the math. The gap is a gap. And sometimes they come up short. And if they do, that's the short number. And if they don't, and they spike the gap, guess what? That's the spike through number, 509.35. And FNF is bouncing, higher low. It's okay. It's okay. For those of you that are in it. For Craig. So I've looked at this. There's nothing you could do in front of this. You got to get him a little bit lower and maybe spike the low for a trade or that kind of thing. See this candle? They're going to fight that down there at 68.22, give or take. They came close-ish, 68.33. Maybe that's enough. But if they spiked it, you give them maybe, just give me a second. Yeah. You give them to about 70, 67, 65. If they break this low, that's a trade. The spiders are ripping it. Now, oh, you know what? I did see that before, Armand. I'm sorry. I forgot. My bad. Same routine. You got to be down here at 758, 757. Down to 55. And that's good today, but that's a long way off. That's the only thing I have. But it's also probably good tomorrow. So you put that on your screen, notepad, whatever. Oh my goodness, Mark, I had a boxer. My goodness. Brendel. He was just my buddy. It's a long time ago. LW, there's nothing to do here. They're just hanging out in the area, that's all. There's nothing to do there. You just gotta wait. Yep, that's awesome, Mark. Do I see the spider retracing? Let's see what they did so far. They did the 50%. That was 50%. So that's already done, Juan. See that? This is your 382. And look at this. By the way, okay, 1555 was my number. 515.26 is a 382, give or take. I didn't put it to the penny, but it's close. And they got to the 50% retrace. It's funny how that works. I had nothing to do with my numbers because my numbers were on the board before today's low. So how could that have possibly been the case? It's not. It's just unbelievable. Oh, you too, Armand? Isn't that great? They're awesome. Yeah, they're all unbelievable. They're just so loyal. I always felt bad when I would get up, even to go to the bathroom or something. We're talking about my boxer who's passed, but he used to follow me. No matter where I was going, he would follow me. He could be dead sleeping, and if I get up off the couch, he's following me. Yeah, yep, Ron. I saw them all this morning, watching them. FNF, we had some players in FNF. There you go. Nice job, 500 for Sean. Last call for alcohol. Questions, comments, complaints first, please. 100 for Muhammad on FNF. It was just a bonanza today. Just every single thing worked. No, there was almost no heat on any trade, on anything. Nothing substantial. 500 on FNF for Sean. I think I already said that. Yeah, I know that, Mark. They always think they're going for a walk. I know that's exactly right. And I always felt bad because I'm not taking them on a walk. That was funny. KR, this is it. 47 bucks. Make it or break it. 47 bucks. Right down here. This is make it or break it. Nothing here. The next thing is it's low here. 46.59. 47 bucks. They have to hold it for the bull case, for the bounce case. SLV, what do we got going there? Saw gold selling off a little bit from the highs. Nah, there's really nothing going on. 25.50 to 45 today, but they didn't get there. Had they gotten there here, it would have been better. Now this is different. I'll tell you what, today, tomorrow, you spike this low and you get down to 25 bucks, 25.10, 25.15, 24.90, 95, anywhere in that 20-cent span here, 15, 20-cent span. Look at the spiders. I told you the easy money was made. Now they're just back and forth chop shop. But here, spike the low, 25 and change to a spike at 25, that's a bounce back place. I like that. That's a day trade. Juan wants to look at the Qs. They're mush. Mush. Those are your numbers. They're coming fast and furious. Give me a second. I got to backtrack the comments here. It is fun when volatility comes back. It's the first thing I wrote this morning, right? First thing I wrote. One of the first things. You're welcome, Michael W. AMD. 64.29. Not close. Bouncing in front. That was the number. Jeremy. That's just today's number, and I just didn't get there. SoFi. I can't figure out why they need an economist. SoFi. She's on TV all the time. I don't understand why they need an economist. What are you listening to SoFi about? I don't understand. Nah, I got nothing. I mean, I'm down at 740, right? That's where I am at SoFi. 735, 740. That's a tall ask to get down there. You got a lot of stuff here. You got this breakup candle low, you got no man's land, you got a gap, but I'm at 740, 735. Oh my goodness, Brian, that's fantastic. What a career. That's awesome. They are your best friend. No doubt about it. Look at this bounce off 513.71. Well done, Ron. I don't know, Nick. It's nowhere today. It's nowhere anytime soon. They got to really pull back. I'll tell you where it is. It's getting farther and farther away, but I'll show you where it is. That's where it is. I can't tell you when they'll be down here. Eventually they will on a pullback, but that's really the place. Before that, it's hard. You got a monthly chart breakup candle low now down at 207. They're going to fight that. There's probably a gap just below that. Yeah, there's a gap at 205.72. So 205.7, 207 is really for now support, and you'll probably get a bounce there, at least for a trade. Just, what's this low? 206.29. So call 206.29 to the gap below. And when you go down to a daily chart, this is what it looks like. Okay. So what's this number? 5. It's a ridiculously narrow area, but just forget that. Just pull it down here and say you got to give it a couple of bucks. Okay. That's a bounce place. But there's so many places it could bounce before that. But when you look at a long-term chart, you say, where would I actually be willing to buy it for a good opportunity, not just a maybe they'll bounce it place. That's the difference. This is a good opportunity. This is a maybe they'll bounce it place up in here. Variable risk. I only want the ones I want. Meta, I got to go soon. Hold on. I had Meta today. They didn't get there. How high do you think FNF can be expected to go, Andre? I can't ever say because I don't know, but I can give you the numbers. All right, so we talked about 49 bucks. If they stay above 48.50, they'll give you 49. And basically, this is not necessarily today, but 50 is not out of the question. It's probably not today, but 50 is not out of the question. If they get above 49, there's not a lot in here between 49 and 50. So 49 is the first objective. Trend line, how you doing? IWM drop below. Let's see it. Now, this is your Irene number. I might have said this before, but I since have said this. 199.66. Look at trend line. Remarkable. Yeah, correct, Nick. It's not something I want to trade back and forth. It's something I want to buy on a decent pullback. I own gold, and this is for everybody's benefit, Nick, and anybody else that's interested. I own gold, and so I'm not going to sell it. I'm not looking to short gold. I'm just looking to buy it on pullbacks, and they've gone so far recently that for me to buy it anytime soon, it's not going to happen. So you have to understand where my mind is. Just happy to have it. And I've said that before. So those of you who've been around a long time know that I own gold. It's not new information. I've been saying gold's in a long-term uptrend for years in the videos. Go back to the videotape. All right, I'm going to wrap it, folks. 11:40. It was a pretty darn good day. Anybody that wanted to trade was given something that they could sink their teeth into today, whether it was a stock or these spiders or anything else. It didn't matter. Okay. Neither, Jeff. I own gold. I don't own any paper. for years, and I'm going to continue to own it. It's like a safety net. Appreciate everybody. Don't do stupid stuff this afternoon. It's a tough tape today. The S&P is down 60 points. They could be down 100. They could be down 20. You don't know, okay? The trend line is your bogey. Below the trend line, you're really targeting down here today. That's still a bounce place today in this zone. Boeing, not quite, almost. 173.40 against 32. That's a give or take. Qs, yeah, we just looked at that. There's nothing really going on in the Qs. This is a number that was missed. It's unfinished business, spiked to low. That's a number. So you might want to write that one down. And so again, don't do stupid stuff in the afternoon. I appreciate everybody. Today, I think we can all agree, I hope we can all agree that you got what you signed up for. We get education, you get to understand the markets, and I'm going to give you everything I've got to put you in good trades where you can make money, and that's the objective. So I think we got everything we were looking for today, and it's a morning business, and that's going to wrap it up. So we'll see you in the video tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow in uniform, ready to go. Your trend line is your bogey. Appreciate everybody. I really do appreciate you being here and the confidence that you place in me. It's very important, and this is a good day, and we'll just leave it at that. All right? We'll see you all later.